Joe is the main distributor for vapes in Ireland today. To debunk here, or to not debunk.
To ask you about popcorn, though. What?
He's in China and how they're testing them.
I've been in Alphar's factories. I've been in Lost Mary's factories. These things are like something from NASA.
There was two videos. One was people handling vapes, gloveless, using their own lips for it, you know. Okay guys, welcome back to the Two Heads podcast. I am Cavan.
And I'm Mukhtar.
And today we are joined by Joe Dunne. Joe is the main distributor for vapes in Ireland today, such as Lost Mary, Hale and Elf Bar. So today we're going to get into the background on vape, where they came from, how they've come about, how they're so popular now, some of the pain points, some of the good things, and we're going to just kind of lead it from there. So Joe, how are you?
Good,
Welcome,
guys.
man.
Thanks for having me here.
Welcome to the studio, man. How are you? Good?
Good, yeah, great, not a bother.
Good. So we'll start, as we always do, at the start. So just a little bit about your background, how you came into, obviously, Lost Mary's and vape in general is a huge thing now.
Yeah.
I understand you were fairly early to the game, though. But before you got to that, how did you come to kind of the space that you're in now with vaping and stuff like that?
I suppose
Distributorship.
it goes back. I'll give you a quick timeline. I left school, worked in Dunnes, manager in Dunnes, went to the guards.
Right.
The guards for 8 years.
Yeah, filled. Okay, yeah.
Then got into...
You're a guard. I could have seen that coming.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's all we have time for.
Got out of that then, got into restaurants for a couple of years with a mate of mine called Cactus Jack's Mexican Restaurants.
Okay.
So we did that for a couple of years. And then sort of, I suppose probably around 2010, a friend of mine had started a vape company in the UK called VIP e-cig. He rang me, we're obviously best mates, he rang me, said, listen, this is going well, making decent money, blah, blah, blah. I said, what is it? He said, it's electronic cigarette. I said, if someone wants to smoke, they want to smoke. What the hell are you doing, you lunatic? I thought it was like non-alcoholic beer. Why would you bother?
Yeah.
Then he rang me a couple of weeks later, listen, I'm in this centre, I'm doing this money. And then I went, okay, he's a bit of a waffler, so I thought maybe he's waffling a bit. But anyway, to make a long story short, my restaurant was around the corner from Jervis Street. Walked over to the centre manager, said I own VIP UK, which I didn't. But nice. E-cigarettes are this, and this is tobacco, and this is the difference, and blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, I'll give you that spot. Gave me a rent figure, I nearly panicked. And anyway, took the spot, opened it, worked on it myself for 4 weeks, learned everything about it, and then I did decent money. From week 1 to week 4 or 5, I was making money. Then I went, okay, I need to expand this as quick as I can before someone else gets in. That was October 2011. And then, really, to make it short, then I just kept opening stores. First store, money I was making, opened the second store. So any profit I was making was opening the further stores and further stores. So it was a bit of luck, but it just worked well. If you know what I mean.
Wow.
And then fast forward then to 2020. Then I know that the lads that own Hale, I'm now one of the owners with them of the company Hale Vaping. They wanted to do a merger or buy VIP. So we done a deal. I had an existing shareholder. He got a deal, he walked away, and then we merged the two companies together. And that's why now you don't see any VIP shops or kiosks.
Yeah, they're gone now, yeah.
You just see Hale everywhere.
So
now.
It was VIP from 2011 to 2020, and now over the past 2.5 years, probably about 2 years ago now, they're all rebranded Hale. So we are Hale, myself and a couple of other shareholders there. We've 70 vape shops in the country in total. Wow. And we supply most of the retail shops with their vape supplies, whether that's Hale or hardware or disposables, and that probably really brings me up to where I am now. Right,
okay. And then just not even kind of slightly irrelevant but relevant, where did you get the business savvy? Like did that from school?
I don't know.
I
still don't know.
Just a natural touch?
No, I don't think it was. No, I think. Listen, as people always say to me, "Oh, you had restaurants that did well, you had vaping shops that did well." I can do another podcast about the 5 businesses that didn't do well.
Right. Okay.
I've loads of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
don't ever talk about them.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
They're the skeletons in the closet. Yeah. So I've loads of them ones that lost me money, and as I always say to people nowadays, it was just, it's just learning as you go. You know what I mean? Learning as you go, making big mistakes and costly mistakes. Yeah. So as I always say to people now, if you're going to fail as quick as you can, as cheap as you can.
Yeah.
They're the things you need to do. Don't be putting big investments into something. Don't be, like obviously reach for the stars and try and get where you want to get. But as I said, I made mistakes where I invested big money in other restaurants that didn't work. Like we had a restaurant in Tala, didn't last. Opened it a year before the recession back in 2007-8. As soon as the recession hit, sure.
Bad timing.
I'm from Tala originally, you know what I mean? So a huge percentage of working class people were put out of work. So it fell on its face. So what I always tell people to say, as I said to you, is fail as quick as you can, as cheap as you can. But then you just pick up stuff all the time. Like I could go back to Dunn's, I could even go to the Gars, I can pick people that, you know yourself, you meet people and you might meet managers or people that are in a business a lot longer than you, and you might say, I don't like that bit, but I like that bit.
Yeah.
And you just keep picking and choosing what you think suits you as you go along.
Yeah.
Like training, like anything, no matter what
you actually only sent me something recently. It's a smart guy makes mistakes and learns, but a wise guy watches a smart guy and picks the things apart. You know what I mean? Does the right shit as opposed to the bad shit. You know?
Exactly, and that's honestly. So it's not as if I'm sitting here thinking, oh, gee, I'm a great entrepreneur, I'm self-taught and all that. It's self-taught, but it's self-taught looking at other people doing these things, rightly or wrongly. Yeah. Like a football player, like a football manager, like anything, like training in the gym. Yeah. You know, you see someone doing something the wrong way, geez, I don't know why he's doing it that way. That's a nice way to do it. So again, it's picking and choosing, and I've been lucky. Listen, it doesn't matter what anyone says. People say, you make your own luck. You do make your own luck, and you do, and things can work out for you. As I said, I've had bad decisions in the past, but there's always an element of luck. There's an element of luck of me merging with the Hale guys 3 years ago and being where we're at now, because we have a team that are just like, we're like entrepreneurs on steroids nearly, you know what I mean? Because we're such a great team and we're all the same, similar acumen, like entrepreneurs growing.
Like-minded,
You know, exactly. So as I said, I wouldn't put it down to that in particular. I'd put it down to seeing, watching and observing what other people do and then picking and choosing what I think should suit my sort of managerial sort of
what you have going on kind of thing. So then obviously there was failures that led to the success, and then obviously the success is quite successful. Lost Mary and all kind of disposable vapes seem to be absolutely everywhere at the minute, both for good and bad reasons. So I think we'll dip into that. But do you have any that you want to kick off?
No, go for it.
Okay. What could you give us an idea, just so we know the gravity of it? Like everyone, I'd be surprised if there's people that aren't aware of what we're talking about in terms of vaping and Lost Mary's Hale, all that type of stuff. What's the difference in, if you're going from 2011, so from 2011 to 2020, and then from lockdown on, what are the numbers like? How did it really blow up as much as it seems to have blown up to us, or from your? Because you've obviously been in the field, so
yeah, I have. No, it's definitely not as. I'm going to say it's not as probably lucrative as everybody thinks.
Not as Vesuvial as most would let on.
It's not, even though you see it everywhere. Yes, it has. Disposables have always been around, by the way. They just, like anything, sometimes timing is of the essence. Yeah. Like Hale, we had our own disposable back 3-4 years ago. You know, just didn't work. People didn't want it, didn't like it. So it depends what time. Like as I said, sometimes like if you look at disposables in the UK, we always look at the UK because they're always 6 to 8 months ahead of us when it comes to trends. No matter what it is.
100%. Yeah.
So you look at the UK. The UK Geek Bar was actually one of the first disposables to hit the market in Europe and here. You know, but it just didn't get traction. Yeah. And sometimes I can't remember the phrase, but something like it's like whoever comes second can eat all the cheese, or some phrase like that. Yeah. So sometimes whoever comes behind the first guy makes the mistakes and doesn't get the traction.
Yeah, he does all the footballs first. Yeah.
So I think we have to look at disposables on a few different levels. Is that it was timing for the company that made them, which is obviously Elf Bar, and they are the same manufacturers for Lost Mary, and it was just timing for them. And I think it came at a point where, when if you look at the demographic of a vapor, you know, the average age of a vapor prior to disposables would have been anything between 33 to 36 years of age, because when you hit 30, you know, I'm 49 now. Do you know what I mean? Well, up to 30, you're invincible. Yeah. Smoke, I can drink, I can, you know, I'm going to live forever.
I'm teetering on that edge right now. I've only turned 30 this year, bro.
I'm not even saying it's 30. I just think you get to a point where you go, maybe it's when kids come along.
You notice the hangover even more.
Oh, you notice anything even more, don't you?
Yeah, man.
No, you're dead right. You wake up next morning, you're fucked for a few days after. Like all that.
Sorry to cut you off there, because like the first time I seen somebody vape was my missus' ma. And she substituted to come off the fags, smokes.
Cigarettes, yeah.
And I remember it used to be a refillable oil. Is it? Am I right? It used to be. It wasn't the small one. It was a cartridge. Yeah, it was a refill. Yeah. But she was going through that more. She had that in her hand more than the fags.
Yeah.
Like she couldn't let that go.
Yeah. Because you weren't banned from small. I know you find that with mine as well, where like I can puff it in the car or in the gaff. And
it's great. You can puff it where you want.
Yeah, it's not
See,
stinking
the thing
anything up, you know.
Is that because let's say you're smoking but you don't smoke in your house. You have to go outside to smoke.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're not incentivized to go out. It could be raining.
Yeah.
It could be in work. I have to go outside to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
Because in fairness, smokers are ostracised. I don't think that's right either. People, we all have freedom of choice.
Okay.
People want to smoke, but I do understand smoking areas and smoking sections and things like that. But what I'm saying is, with vaping, people can use it a bit more conveniently. Either in the house, in the studio, in the car, because it doesn't have any second-hand detriment to anybody else.
To it. Yeah.
You know, and it really doesn't. The thing with the refillable one, as I said, if you look at our company in total, yes, disposables are a decent part of our business, but so is our 10ml bottles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the refillable one. So the refillable one would have been, as I said, associated with people from an older demographic, older than you anyway, Kevin. But from an older demographic, which, as I said, would be sort of mid-30s. What disposables have done is that they have got younger smokers away from smoking earlier than they would if they were going to wait for the other products. If you understand me.
I get you, yeah.
Because younger people don't find that filling and changing coils. They find that really...
It's really like, you know...
It's not the convenience
the
that
clunky
they want.
for them,
They don't find it convenient. They, like, as I was saying to someone yesterday on the radio, do you realise, why disposables? Why were they ever invented? We live in a world of convenience.
Yeah.
Do we not? People buy fast food and packages in gyms, whether it's these fit food brands or Nutri-Quick or all these brands out there, they're decent food, but they're for convenience for people who are on the go.
On the go,
so are disposables. But they're for people who are on the go. They're attracting a younger smoker. We can see that from the data we have. And as I said to you, it's the closest thing to a cigarette because you don't have to fill it up. You don't have to change coils. You take it out, you use it. And when it's finished, and I need to stress this point, when it's fucking empty, you need to recycle it. Yeah. Hope everybody can hear that because we do have a recycling program, but we'll probably get to that later.
Get to that.
But the problem with all the L ones is, right? The problem with the L
ones, I love it.
The mothers.
Hope my man's not listening.
The problem with the mothers is, right, there's a lot of school kids now grabbing them on the way to school. Me personally, I think the Lost Mary, the small ones, the best thing about them is the flavours.
Yeah.
Am I right? I remember even when I've never smoked. Now I smoke weed, but like I just smoke it pure. I don't smoke tobacco. I never like the smell of tobacco or anything like that. But when I was on prep there at the start of the year, I had to pick up Lost Mary because it just kept me that chewing gum, you know, like that. Yeah.
And then something without eating something.
Then with time, I realised I was starting to get dependent on it. Depending on it. But I get where the mothers are coming from trying to ban that, where the kids are going in. So I think what they're kind of asking for is regulations. Same way your kid can't buy smokes without showing IDs, should be the same for the vapes.
Oh no, it should. It should. And the problem we have is that we've been looking for that for the past 6-7 years from the government. Do you know what I mean? Like I was involved in the health bill now. It's been going on the past 3 years because of COVID. It got delayed, but I was in the Oireachtas, so I gave evidence in relation to this. You know what I mean? Because they were looking at banning flavours. They were trying to do extreme regulation, which we do a lot of here. We go to extremes here, and what happened is the new bill is now passed. It's going to be it's going to be put in front of the government now. I think when they come back after the summer holidays. So that is for the first time 2023. By the way, regulation is in since 2016, and it's only now we're getting to legally ban it to under 18s. And legally have penalties and repercussions for people who are selling to under 18s. We don't sell to under 18s. We don't. We do legal checks, you know, testing. We have a separate company goes in and checks, make sure our staff are doing it properly. We keep an age register or an age check. No ID, refuse. We keep a log. You know, because the thing we need to remember is that, and again, sorry, I get a bit animated sometimes. We need to have a perspective on this. I agree. I have 5 kids. Do I want any of them vaping? Not a fucking hope. I don't want them near vaping. I don't want them smoking. So where our mantra is in my company, in Hale Vaping, is if you don't smoke, don't vape. And if you're under 18, don't smoke, don't vape either. That's plain and simple. That's it in a nutshell. But unfortunately, there's irreputable people out there, as there is in every walk of life, or every product out there, who are selling stuff to kids, to school kids and everything. But this new bill is also going to have a licensing system, so the government will have to approve who sells it. Now, I'm hoping it goes to something like anywhere you buy tobacco or any specialist vape store. So then they can confine it. Not a phone shop on Parnell Street or Liffey Street.
Somewhere random as fuck. Like,
And that's another thing that a lot of people are saying, like, you know what I mean, in the local shops. Like, I'm from Bonogue, by the way, Clondalkin, So in all the local shops, the little small shop, the little corner shops, they have them in all flavours. And there's no one asking for ID.
Yeah.
So the danger and the reason why I pressure to get you on board is because I'm the one that's going to ask you these questions. Yeah. I need to push these questions because I need to know. Yeah. And I think the viewers will love to hear it because there's a few questions I was told to ask you.
Yeah.
So a small loss, Mary, looks unharmful. But is that packing the same as a 40 jump line bill?
No.
That's one thing that a lot of people are asking because young fellas are finishing this before the school is ended. Yeah. They'll pick one up going to school. Yeah. And by the time they come out of school, by the time the lunch is over, blah, 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 they're finishing.
Oh, I hockey through one of them in a day. Yeah.
Definitely. So, like, so parents are worried that if that's the same equivalent as smoking 40 smokes,
yeah,
what danger does that little one that looks pink and blue, that looks so that doesn't look harmless, is doing to their kids? And that's where that's one of the questions that I was asked to ask you.
Yeah, no problem.
You know what I mean?
So there's probably two parts to that question that I'm going to answer. First part is we have to remember as well, not lose sight of this, is that vaping scientifically is proven to be 95, actually more, probably about 97% less harmful than smoking.
Okay.
So when you compare the two, when you say about your missus or your missus' mum, having the vape and having it in her hand, I'd rather see that than having 10 cigarettes. I'd rather see her vaping that all day. Because the harm she's causing herself compared to smoking is 96 to 97% less. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing you have to remember is that when you look at an elf bar, right, and I'm going to give you, and this is really going to hit home with a lot of people. There's 2 ml of liquid in it.
Okay.
And 20 milligram of nicotine per mil. So when that is 40 milligram of nicotine in that Lost Mary. You with me? There's 10 milligram of nicotine in a cigarette.
In each one?
In each one. Now, we probably only inhale about 4 milligrams because it burns away.
It burns out, yeah.
So if you take that, if you equate the two of them together, an Lost Mary is really about the same as 10 cigarettes for nicotine consumption.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because it's 4 milligram roughly per cigarette that we inhale, and multiplied by 10 cigarettes is 40, and there's 40 milligrams nicotine. Now, in the Lost Mary, you don't inhale the 40 milligrams either, because when you take a puff of that, there's always a little bit
coming up. Yeah.
That's the problem. When we look at the media, they go, it's the same as 40 cigarettes, it's the same as 60 cigarettes. I'm going to be devil's advocate. Let's pretend it was the same as 40 cigarettes. Let's just pretend it was. It's still 97% less harmful. Now, I'm not talking about children here. I'm talking about people over the age of 18. I'm not talking about the children, because the children thing is something that obviously, excuse me, the children thing is something that I've never agreed with.
Yeah.
Ever.
100%.
Don't do it. Don't need to do it. There's still 750,000 smokers in this country. We don't need.
Regardless.
The industry doesn't need to have children.
There's
enough smokers out there to swap over. But in relation to the nicotine question, that's the difference. There's much more nicotine in cigarettes than there is. And the thing you have to remember as well is that with the nicotine that's in tobacco, with the addition of chemicals and additives that tobacco companies put in them, it makes them more addictive than the nicotine that's in a vape.
Yeah. Brilliant. And that brings me to the next one, right? So like, if there's less nicotine in the Lost Marys, and there's more in the Jump Live Blue, let's say, what is the equivalent of everything else that's in that to give you the flavor, to give you the texture?
Yeah.
You know, like people want to in the Lost Mary. See, people are saying that the whole point of vaping is there's no symptoms yet. As in, like in 10 years' time, some cunt will start growing a fucking tail or something. You know what I mean? That's the fair question in the States.
Yeah, for sure.
In the mothers.
It is, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So what they want to know, so what is in the Lost Mary? So there's 20% nicotine, right? And then there's flavors.
Yeah.
What flavor? What's giving that flavor, and what's the oil that's mixed with? They need to see. A lot of people are naive, and it's a word of whisper around the estate. Yeah. It comes one cunt will turn around. Oh yeah, I smoked that and I got popcorn lungs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you already heard that from vaping,
which doesn't exist. But anyway, I'll get to
we'll
that.
Get to that.
Yeah. But I'll answer that one. The first thing we need to clarify is the first main component, which is nicotine.
Yes.
There was a study done in America, right, of a couple of thousand GPs, so general doctors, right, about nicotine. 76% of them answered that nicotine is the harmful component of smoking.
Okay.
Can you believe that, doctors? Nicotine is not the harmful component of smoking. Nicotine doesn't cause cancer. It's the tar in tobacco. We're confused by that all the time. Because nicotine has been entwined with cigarettes for the last 60 years, people think they're the same thing. Nicotine is in the same family as caffeine. There's an addictive nature to it. Yes, there is. But it doesn't cause the harm that's in cigarettes. That's caused by combustion, by tar, by chemicals and everything else in that. So that's the first thing we need to remember. So nicotine is the first ingredient. Is it addictive? Yes, it is. But people don't die from nicotine, they die from tar.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's now again, and I say here, lads.
No, I'm only have to learn that myself.
And it's not coming from me. This is coming from experts. I surround myself with about 20 experts all over Europe. Who are experts in tobacco harm reduction. And if I see something in the media, I'm on to them.
Yeah.
What do you think of
What
this?
you think
These guys, I'm not the expert. So what I'm telling you here is really just me spitting stuff back out that experts have told me.
That's brilliant. No, that's brilliant. Look, you're not shying away from hand, so that's brilliant,
And the nicotine is one. So then the other ingredients in that obviously have the flavourings, whether it's strawberry or menthol. Again, that comes from food flavourings. So they would be similar flavourings that you would get in a strawberry cake or strawberry cereal or melon cereal or whatever it might be. So food flavourings. Yeah. Approved by the Food Authority Board. So not just stuff that we make up. Then you have PG, which is propylene glycol, and vegetable glycerine. Both of these, don't ask me now what they mean and go into the scientific table of them, because I don't really know it.
I want to understand that.
But PG and VG, that's the abbreviation. They're in everyday foods. Everyday foods that we consume all the time. Again, they just make it make the vape a bit smoother or things like that. But they're stuff, the three of them, PG, VG and the flavourings are stuff that we find in everyday foods. And the other thing I'll add as well is that, and people don't know this, all our hair liquids, we have our own factory down in Carlow. We make all our liquids in Carlow. They're not made in China. They're not made anywhere else.
Yeah, that's mad.
You know we make all our liquids here. We have a doctor down there. For me, he's like your man out of fucking Back to the Future. You know what I mean? We got this fella in a room, and this fella comes out with magic.
Madness.
And he does. And
Einstein.
He is. And we keep the chemical compounds and everything else as low as you can. Like, we're in the middle of making a new formulation that's going to be the least amount of chemicals and the least amount of harm that could cause anybody. We're trying to make it purer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you said, to bring that number 95, bring that up to 98, 99.
Do you know what
nothing's 100%. Like, people said to me the other day, why can't it be 100% if it's manufactured? Well, nothing's fresh air. You walk out there, that fresh air.
It's not. Sure, birth control. Look, everything else, there's nothing that's fucking 100%. But no, fair play to you.
But just so the listeners understand, the ingredients that are in a vape product and the liquids, regulated ones and certified ones and notified ones are, as I said, ingredients that are in everyday food that we consume all the time,
all day, every day. Yeah, madness, man.
And there's nothing in the menthol you usually hear. And again, I'm sure we're going to talk a lot of hearsay kind of shit here now as well, just from what we would have heard or you see online and stuff like that. Apparently, the menthol aspect is meant to be more harmful than the actual just the classic flavorings, or could that be nearly like a placebo thing where if you have a menthol, after you brush your teeth, a cup of coffee tastes like shite anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
See, because vaping because vaping is put in the same bracket as tobacco. This whole menthol issue is coming from tobacco, and it has just been laid upon vaping. It's not, because as I said to you, the menthol that's in tobacco, there's additives and chemicals and the sort of stuff that's added that to make it more addictive, to make it more nice, to make people want it more. I don't know the ins and outs of the scientific part of that, but that's it in a nutshell. They're adding different accelerants to it. Whether that's I can't remember. There was some name on it. It'll come back to me in a minute. And it meant in the menthol thing, it's meant to make the nicotine go to the brain faster. That's to give you the nutshell. In a tobacco cigarette, and not vaping.
Yeah, that's like a Marlboro Touch kind of thing where you squeeze the yolk in it.
It's just meant to make it go faster, make you want it a bit more and a bit quicker, and make the nicotine rush a little bit faster and quicker. But they've just moved the gun and sort of said, "Oh, well, vape is the same." Yeah,
generalising it.
As I said, when we look at the chemical compounds and stuff that goes in that, as I said to you, any flavouring that goes into anything that we make is food flavourings and stuff that you would find in everyday foods.
Brilliant. Right, that brings us to the popcorn lungs.
Yes.
So, this is one of the questions that somebody asked me to ask you. So, a lot of people notice after being vaping for the first time, in the first few weeks, their throat goes, and then. I remember who asked me? They asked me to ask you about popcorn lung, but I don't know exactly how terms. But what I know about popcorn lung is the news or the fake news. I don't know if it's real news or fake news because it's coming from Instagram. It's coming from social media. Yeah. That's another thing that people need to stop doing. They need to stop believing everything that's on fucking line.
It could come from anywhere.
It could be anything,
We live in a world where you don't know.
You don't know what's right or what's wrong, what I mean? I'm getting told you eat a slice of cake, you get cancer for fuck's sake.
Eggs are bad for you, eggs are good for you.
Do you get where I'm coming from? We don't drink milk, it's full of bleeding, it's mad. But so about the popcorn. So the popcorn thing, they're saying that, so my explanation on it that I took away from it is, right, when you vape, right, it's like getting a vape machine in the room. There's a little bit of mist to it. It's a little bit of dampness to it. Yeah. So when you're vaping oil, the oil is sitting on your whatever in your guts. It's not blending in. It's not mixing with the blood. If you pour water and oil together, oil sits on top. Right? So a lot of people reckon, okay, when you're vaping all the time or whatever, I don't know if people are trying to use this as an excuse to their kids, to scare their kids. I don't know. This is, like I said, this is things that people are talking about on social media.
Yeah.
That when you're vaping, it's sitting on your lungs, it's sitting on your yoke, and it's not vibrating because oil don't mix with water. Just like oil don't mix with blood, it sits on top. So on time, it rots out your liver or your lungs or whatever way, you know what I mean? And then that's how you get the popcorn lung and it darkened. Is it true?
No.
You've never heard anyone that's been 100%.
No one has popcorn lung from vaping.
No?
No one in the world. And I'd ask any of your listeners to go and try and Google the shit out and try and find someone that has popcorn lung from vaping. Because no one has. Again, it was a terminology that was brought out because there was people in China who were in a popcorn factory, which was a butter popcorn factory, and they were meant to be getting popcorn lung from the butter, inhaling the butter that was being made in the machines. Okay. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
There's certain ingredients that can cause, not popcorn lung, but can cause irritation in vaping.
Yes.
But they're not in it anymore.
Okay.
They were in it prior to 2015.
They're probably the VIPs.
I'm going to bore you now. There was one ingredient called diacetol, formaldehyde. These things would have been causing, would have been known to cause irritations. That's what they'd cause it.
Yeah.
But since we got regulation here in 2016, TPD, even though it's under fucking tobacco product directive, and it's not a tobacco product, but that's just where we went.
Yeah.
Any product brought to the market has to be notified to the HSE. We have to do toxicology, emissions, ingredients, and then we have to wait 6 months for the HSE to approve it before we can put it to the market. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Some people out there, not your listeners, maybe some of your listeners, but media, politicians, sometimes people who are meant to be clever, don't even know we have fucking regulation.
It's nuts.
They make statements going, we don't have proper regulation. The reason doctors say that is because it's not pharmaceutical regulation. To go down that road, I'd have to go to Fort Knox and borrow about 100 million just to register it as a medical product, because the medical device is so expensive to do medical testing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The reason, as I was saying to you earlier on, Cab, before we came on there, if vaping was invented by a pharmaceutical company, I would not be sitting here. And vaping would be everywhere in the country.
It'd be everywhere, in the leading chemists and everything.
It'd be the ultimate anti-smoking tool, yeah.
So the thing you have to remember about popcorn lung, it's not true. Okay. It's one of those things that, like an urban legend that went around, still goes around. I still have to defend it every so often when I'm on radio shows, and because people still keep spouting it out. Like everyone, I'm probably jumping the gun here now, but I am just telling me to stop. And it's like anywhere I read stuff now, we're talking about the gateway theory, okay?
Okay, yeah.
So gateway theory is, again, coming from the Irish government, if a child or a young person vapes, they are 3 to 5 times more likely to smoke.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. See it everywhere. We've the lowest smoking rate we've ever had. If that was happening, the smoking rate would be going up. That's the first point I'll give you. Smoking rates in 2011, 23%. Smoking rate now, 18%. So 2011 to now. When did vaping come in here? Around 2011. Vaping rates, 5%. Smoking drops 5, vaping's up 5. I'm not a mathematician, but I can work out the correlation between both. But the thing we have to remember is that, and I'm going to bore you now for a second, so sorry about this.
Go for it.
When they talk about the gateway theory, it's like these headlines when it goes, kids more likely to smoke if they vape. Everyone fucking shits themselves. Jesus, the mothers, as you said, the elders, oh my God, be kids vaping, they're going to be smoking. But when you go into the methodology, right, of the study, which I fucking did, and you read it, and I'm going to read it if you don't mind me reading it.
Go for it, for sure.
I have it here. The reason I have it here, because this is like my little... this is like my little diary of the bits and that. So gateway theory. So when you look, the HRB, which is the Health Research Board, they did a report 2020, and they came out that more likely to smoke. But when they studied and measured past 30-day e-cig use and subsequent 30-day cigarette use, so someone that vaped for 30 days and then went smoking for 30 days, which would be a gateway theory, because it would be from vaping to smoking, they found no significant association. This is in their own report, by the way. And the last line of the report, this is mad. That this is their study. The study design used to access the relationship between e-cig use and subsequent smoking cigarettes does not allow us to say there's a definite relationship.
Wow. Yeah.
That's in that, like, that's not me.
That's their own study, like,
But the problem is the headlines, grab headlines.
Grab headlines, yeah.
And then when you read into, as I said, when you read into how they did it and what they studied. Anyway, I'm sorry for boring you there.
No, absolutely. That's what we have here, Joe.
Things like that are stuff that keeps getting brought up. And it irritates me as my business partners say to me when they go on to the radio show, don't be getting irritated, you need to be calm. Sometimes it's hard.
It can be hard, absolutely. The amount of stuff. And again, like we said there, like, in this day and age, it's hard to know who's talking truth anyway. And that would be my next thing. Like, just as you were saying there, in terms of the process that you go through just to even get a flavor or an actual product out there. The other thing that you'd see that's the most popular to debunk here, or to not debunk, is you see the factories in China and how they're testing them. There was two videos. One was people handling vapes gloveless.
Yeah.
And then the other one was lads actually testing them. They have them all in a tray of however they come in, and they're literally using their own lips for it, you know.
Well, I can tell you firsthand, because I've been over to China. I've been in Alpbar's factories. I've been in Lost Mary's factories. These things are like something from NASA.
Yeah, next level shit.
These things are fully automated machines. Them videos, and I've seen them I've seen them online. I'm to be honest with you, I'm going to sound older even than I am. I'm only on Facebook. The only reason I'm on it is because I'm keeping an eye on what all the other vape shops are doing.
Yeah.
My young one's 16. She's the one who's going to be, oh, look, Dad, look, do you see this? She got into my car about a year and a half ago. Short story. I had a couple of samples. I was just looking at the design on Alpbars before we got them in. She said, are you doing Alpbars? I said, how the fuck
do you even know what that is? Like,
oh no, it's all over TikTok. I said, it better be on TikTok.
It's mad.
Anyway, I've been in the factories.
Yeah.
These are fully automated machines. These are fully, from start to finish. The liquid is down one end, and next of all, it comes out the far end, and it's there. Then what happens is, certain quantity of each batch then is taken away to a separate lab, which checks the battery if it's vibrated because it has to go in the air, checks the puff machine to make sure that there's the puffs in it, checks the nicotine content to make sure it's not above the 20%. So if I hadn't been there, boys, trust me, I tell you, I haven't been there, but I know they're good because I get the results. I've been there in the flesh. I was only there in February, and I've visited all the factories that they have. And it says things like that are from sort of rogue factories, if you want to call it that, and people putting up stuff just to cause a bit of and get a few clicks.
But see, anything that goes viral like that, and anything that picks up revenue that fast, there's always a fake. There's always going to be a copy of it, and China is the best for it.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Look,
home of it,
every one of us were wearing branded runners. Do you know what I mean? Over here, they're branded. In China, there's so many copy of it.
Yeah, she got to Guangzhou. It's like the center of it.
So like, I remember people were moaning about the masks. That the mask companies are, like, because the videos leaked of India, of them being in this one room chopping up mad shit, like not even washed and all, and there was the mask that we were wearing. But people not realising, like, anything that picks up revenue that fast.
Someone else.
Because it was in the lockdown, mask was like billion, it was a liquid fucking paper basically.
Exactly.
It was gold. So, people are going to copy it. People are going to do a trailer, like a copy of that.
Yeah, try and get in on it. Like.
But what I'm trying to say is, right, since we have you in here, and you're the main man for Lost Mary at the moment, how about an idea of, like, the shops that sell it have an approval at their door? Something to show that, this is the real deal of what you're getting. Instead of the constant thing. Because I feel like a lot of the local shops around the areas, especially from, you know yourself, Tale, the way we go, like, you know what I mean, the areas, especially in the council areas.
Yeah. As I call them, the mom and pop stores. They're not a Spar, they're not a Centre, they're just a Joe's shop.
These are getting stuff from random spots. That's not coming from you, not company or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you how to identify a genuine Alpbar in this country. In this country alone, is to look at the product, make sure the Irish flag is on it, because we got them to put that on it for us. To differentiate us between the UK and other stuff that was coming in. Because the UK had a huge problem with overfilling there back around March. I don't know whether you've seen it. There was a recall in Alpbar because they were putting too much liquid in it.
The British American tobacco.
I just think people were getting more value for their money. There wasn't more nicotine. There wasn't more nicotine in it.
More flavours.
No, but just now, listen, it was illegal, it was wrong. I agree that. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying to you is, the headlines again was, Alpbar are doing double the amount of nicotine. It wasn't a double amount of nicotine. The nicotine was still 20 milligram per mil.
It was just more fluid.
They were just giving you 3 mil.
Yeah.
2 mil. But still, it was against regulations, and that's fine. So what we done around that time, what we said to Alpbar and Lost Mary, we said, listen, we need to differentiate between the two. Because the biggest problem we have in this country is illegal product. Non-compliant products. I'm talking about stuff that comes from Europe, stuff that comes from the UK. Because with the regulations, no product from the UK is meant to be imported into here. Because every vape product has to have an EU responsible person as listed on the product. So someone you can go back to if there's a problem. UK is not in the EU anymore, so that's a packaging issue. Anyway, I won't bore you. Basically, UK, anyone that sees UK stock here shouldn't be buying it. We don't know what's in it.
We don't know what's in it.
And I'm not trying to just push Lost Mary.
No, it's true.
I sell it. What I'm trying to say is that we need to make sure, because even Stephen Donnelly, the health minister, said a while ago, he was worried because he's seeing the UK product here and it had certain chemicals and metals in it. We know they're not in ours. Every time that I get an letter from Lost Mary order in, every batch, every flavour, I send to an independent lab in Ireland that does the testing for me to make sure the metals are right, to make sure the nicotine is right, to make sure that the filling is right, because I don't want any hassle. You know what I mean? I don't want to be putting something out there that's wrong.
Yeah.
So just to answer your question is, when you're buying an apple from Lost Mary, if you're going to a Spar or Centre, whatever shop you're going into, just make sure it has an Irish flag on it, because we're the only one with that on it. And that's a legitimate one.
Because what I'm saying is, right, and I saying our markets, you can buy them in bulk.
Oh yeah,
like I'm talking like the likes of little Fleet Street, or like any of them little markets. You can just buy them in like. But like what I don't understand, like what I think is, me personally, what's gonna make a lot easier to have this under better control is, like, say for example, if you're supplying to Spars or Lundis, to have some kind of approval sticker that's on the counter. Or that's wherever Lost Mary is, that says approval and lies, you know what I mean, stamped by whatever, that you know this is guaranteed, the shit that's in it. You know what I mean?
See, the problem with that, Mark, is that even some of them stores that will be buying from us, some of them might be still buying from the UK.
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
There's still a grey area when it comes to that. Grey area, grey market. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest that's the biggest problem that we have as an industry, but also as a business, and definitely for the health of people that are on vaping, because products that come here should be only products that are notified in Ireland, approved by the HSE and sold.
Yes.
We've never done anything different. We don't. Now we're too big to do anything different. Not that we would anyway.
Yeah,
We're the biggest company out there. We have to be wired and white. No, not that we have to be. We want to be wired and white. Do you know what I mean? We nearly have regulations nearly here. We nearly go a little bit a step above that and make sure that everything is even more safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the problem you have with doing something like that, you could give them a approved sticker, but then
then they can just order from anywhere else for cheaper
from
or whatever.
From Nori or something.
Yeah, fell off the van. Fell off the back of the truck.
And them lads aren't paying the proper VAT or everything else, so that's how they're able to sell it a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's nuts.
So again, business at the end of the day, so someone's going to try and make a few extra quid if they can.
Yeah. It's like people copying. It's like people copying in China trying to make it.
Yeah.
People are also copying and trying to flog it as well.
Exactly.
Everyone's trying to do something.
Everyone's trying to get something out of it. Like, you know what I mean? Jesus Christ. I got into the wrong business.
Any jobs, Joe?
No. You can have mine, lads. I had a week of media stuff this week, so I'm about to blow up.
Brilliant.
This is a bit more chill than having debates on the radio.
Good.
But as I said, any questions for the map? If you have any tough ones from anyone, just keep.
Do you want to go to the next one, or will I bring you?
Well, you go for it. You go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I had a good bit of time at the start there, so
No, go for it, man.
Right, okay. So my next one is EP.
Yeah.
So EP. So I think the biggest kind of theme here is that people are kind of brandishing vapes and stuff like that as something that's highly dangerous and harmful to people. Obviously, the back end of that, just not from the health aspect, is the like the pollution in it, I guess, is the right way to say
environmental impact.
Environmental impact, thank you. Yeah, so I know EP have banned disposable vapes from the festivals. How do you find that impacts your business, the name on the, especially, and sorry, because you're trying to get this regulated so that it can be seen as safe and as an anti-smoking device and stuff like that. Does that deter the end goal for you?
Yeah, it does. Listen, anything that comes out that is of a negative nature and that's not backed up by data or by any sort of real thinking, if you know what I mean, it just doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, the problem I have at the moment, it's not the problem, it's just the issue that's in society with vaping, is that like people see vaping nearly as bad as tobacco. That's where it's at, because it's lumped in with tobacco. That's the issue we have. And the problem that I've seen over the last couple of months with media stories and stuff like that is that vaping now has been just mentioned on its own.
Yeah.
Cigarettes are not even in the conversation anymore.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's like vaping is there. But to answer your question on EP, like EP came out with a statement out this morning saying we won't be searching anybody, we just won't be selling them.
Yeah.
The other day they were going to confiscate.
Oh, yeah.
So they backtracked a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think they can stop people from what they, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not going
to affect anybody buying it. People are just going to buy them before they
leave.
Yeah. Puff 10 or
you
12
know what I mean?
in their pocket.
Sure, EP doesn't promote drugs either. The place are going to be fucking flooded in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like these things are out of their control. Like it's like trying to tell somebody not to drink water.
It is.
It's basically what they're doing. Like.
Yeah.
But the thing we have to remember as well, as I said, we have a lot of environmental agencies and groups who are against disposables. I think disposables do cause an environmental problem, but it's a problem that has a solution, and this is the difference. And I was only on the radio yesterday having a debate with one of the environmental groups, and I said, you know, Hale we've started working with We Ireland, so the main recyclable company in Ireland. We're working with them the past 12 months, right, about getting these recycled. The thing that people don't know, and I hope anyone that's vaping out there, please, I'm speaking to you. If you have an empty disposable, bring it back into the place you bought it, ask them where the blue box is and put it in it. Because people see the blue box and think it's just for AA and AAA batteries.
Okay.
There's a battery in the thing,
But people just don't know. You know why? Because you've seen that blue box for the last 15 years. It doesn't say disposable on it.
Yeah.
But if anyone's vaping out there, if you want to do a good thing, wherever you buy it, bring it back. Stick it in ask them where the blue box is. So what happens is, for every vape that we put in the market, we have to pay a fee, which is a legal fee that you have to pay when you put batteries into the market, whether it's a fucking remote control or whatever. So we pay them. When we pay them, then they are the ones that are going to recycle. So they collect the blue boxes. In every vape store in the country, in my vape stores, we have big, huge barrels in there that are branded disposable vapes. So we're seeing a huge take back already. But the problem is, people don't know about it yet. We're starting to do a nationwide campaign, because you probably didn't know. You probably didn't know it. Your listeners don't know it. But I'm trying to get the word out there. Like, if we're able to let people know who vape, listen, when you're going back in to buy a new one, just bring your old one with you.
You're going back there anyway,
A lot of people just put it in their bins.
No, exactly, because
that's what I'm saying,
no one knows you can recycle them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the word out there. Now, we're doing a nationwide media paper campaign, because I want to get up on top of the fucking central bank in Dublin with this big loudspeaker and tell people if you're buying it in a centre and you're going back there, please just bring back the empty one, put it in the blue box. That's all we need to do. But just to talk about electric picnic, this is where, and I'm not slagging environmental groups, because I think they do great work, so I'm not doing that. But what I'm trying to say is that when you're so adamant about loving the environment and not wanting to damage the environment, you're talking about disposable vapes, and they're going to be an electric picnic and the sheep are going to eat them on Monday. I'd love to go down to there on Monday, and I tell you now, I'd say we'd lose count if we had 100 people to try and count the amount of cigarette butts that'll be in that land. That'll pollute that land. If you want to ban something that's polluting the earth, ban cigarettes, but no one's even talking about it. No one's talking about it. This country, 55% of the litter in this country, of all litter in this country, is cigarette butts. It costs the government €70 million a year to clean up the litter. When a cigarette butt is put into the ground, it takes 14 years for it to break down, and 10 years it keeps seeping out the shit that's in it. Into the land, into the water, into the fish.
10 years.
Wow.
Now, I get a bit animated, but the reason is that it's all well and good trying to throw the baby out of the bathwater and say the vaping is the big devil in the room. Do you know what I mean? There's always the worst thing in this universe when it comes to when it comes to nicotine, is tobacco cigarettes. And when it comes to litter and pollution, is cigarette butts. So I agree with them, but I keep saying we, then We Ireland, Hale spoke to We Ireland, and we were coming up with a plan for electric picnic to put loads of them barrels down there and get them branded and get people to recycle them, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's happening. I think they're taking a few of them, but they've seen a bit of a backtrack. As I said, we need to have a bit of perspective when it comes to this, in a sense that these products are getting people away from cigarettes. That's
the most important part of it.
Yeah, that's where it's actually anti-smoking.
But then that brings me to this next question. I know you're going through court cases these days.
Us?
Are you going through court cases?
No.
Is there no regulation they're trying to bring out regulations about banning Lost Marys, no?
No, they're looking about banning disposables.
Okay, so it's not to do with the brand, it's just any disposable.
Just disposables, yeah. So basically, the Department of the Environment, one of the ministers there came out in January. So I want to ban these. I want to ban them. He was on the radio only last week on Drive Time. I was on it yesterday, saying he wants to ban them. He did a consultation process. I think he got a couple of thousand replies. He said the replies are banned. But if you let me elaborate just a little bit.
No, go for it.
I'm sorry, I know I've bleeding talk more than you.
No, you're good, you're good. That's where it's
going
to go.
Joe, that's the point.
And I've no one here to kick me to stop. You just
you're good, you're good.
All right, man.
The thing about prohibition, right? And as I said to you, I grew up in Tala. I'm originally from Tala. I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist. Never went to college. You know what I mean? So I'm not afraid with all these things that are going on. But I know what works and what doesn't work. If you keep it in simple terms, prohibition doesn't work. Never has. They tried it in America back in the 30s or 40s with alcohol. Never worked. What did it create? It created Al Capone and all these gangsters. And it created a criminal black
moonshine,
market.
all that shit.
Moonshine and everything, And
I'm not saying, people might think, geez, he's a bit mad. That's not the same thing. It is the same thing.
It is exactly the same
thing. If you
thing,
ban a product in one country and it's not banned in Europe, You telling me the lads up the north, the lads in Manchester, the lads in Birmingham aren't going to go, fucking hell. They can't buy vapes, they can't buy disposables there anymore. So all you're going to do is create a black market. That's the first thing. And you're going to create a black market of products that aren't notified to the HSE. We don't know what's in them. And no one's fucking recycling them because no one's paying the fees. So they're going to be everywhere. And I'm just going to give you another little touch on that to give you an example of where it hasn't worked when it comes to vaping. All I hear on the radio these days, oh, look what Australia did. Australia put vapes into prescription. Let's follow them. They're amazing, aren't they great? Australia's going to backtrack on that. Mark me words. Mark the date. I don't even know what date it is today.
31st.
But in the next 6 months, that's going to be reversed in Australia. You heard it here first on the Two Heads podcast. The reason for that is there's 1.2 million vapors in Australia. They put it to prescription to stop the black market. There's only 10% of them, so there's only 120,000 can get prescriptions because there's no doctors giving them. So there's nearly 1 million of them don't have prescription. Where are they buying it?
You get me?
Illegal, black market.
Not knowing what's in it.
The black market trade has tripled in the past 4 months. And even Australia have a committee who advised the Prime Minister. They're saying to him, we need to fucking roll back here, baby. This isn't working. So it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's like the lockdown. Remember the lockdown when they closed all the pubs and the carryouts and all? There was more alcohol everywhere than there was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
People making it their business to do that.
Somebody that had a key to a pub and let you in just have a pint.
Toilet drink became one of the biggest fucking business in the lockdown.
And no age checks there.
It's mad, isn't it?
Right, there was no regulation to be seen.
Mad. Okay, guys, this episode was sponsored by Phone Genie. Phone Genie is based on the Long Mile Road, guys. Phone Genie is one of the best phone repair shop in Dublin. Make sure to drop into them. Like I said, it's based on the Long Mile Road, right at the back of the Wiggles shop. And guys, it doesn't matter if you have a crack on your screen, a computer that needs to be fixing, laptop, phones, anything with a battery pack, the boys are the best at what they do. Phone Genies, make sure to drop down to them right behind Wiggles on the Long Mile Road. The best at what they do, like I said, best prices, best staff, best customer service. Make sure to drop into them. Phone Genies is for you. But thank you for sharing a light on that, man. I truly appreciate you as well. Just being open and just being able to talk about it. These things are like word of whispers. It's good to hear it from someone that actually is in the game.
And as you said, Mark, today, is that the thing that people have to remember as well. And I'm sure you're going to have many of your listeners now going, he owns a fucking vape business. Of course he's going to tell us that has happened. Of course he's going to tell us. I had it yesterday. I was on News Talk with Tom Dunne. And he said to me, I just got a text in there, Joe, and I was thinking the same thing. You have a vape company. You're a lobbyist for vaping. We tobacco lobbyists back in the 60s. So what do we know? What's going to happen? I said, well, what we know now, that if cigarettes were brought out now with the science we have, they'd never be allowed to be sold. Right? That's the first thing we know. The second thing, the science, we're so far ahead with science that, as I said, again, you're going to have to bear with me for a second. Nearly about 20 experts in the UK sat down back in 2014, right? And they did a thing called multi-decision critical analysis. I know that's a bleeding tongueful, but basically it's what they use to check the harm in something.
Okay.
So they looked at nicotine products, cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, pouches, and e-cigarettes. So the harm from cigarettes was at 100%, right? So 100% harm. I think cigars was 67%, chewing tobacco was 40%. Vaping was 4.6% of the harm when compared to smoking. That's not me. I'm talking about people from the Royal College of Physicians in London, from Public Health England, from the University College London. These guys are experts. All they want to do is stop people fucking dying from cigarettes. That's all. They don't own vaping companies. They don't have an interest in vaping. They just want people to stop dying from cigarettes. And these are the experts that I speak to. And these are the ones that come up with these analyses and stuff. I have here in my papers. They come up with this stuff all the time. It's at least 95, if not 97% less harmful because there's no combustion. If you don't smoke, don't vape. If you smoke, try vaping. And you hit a thing earlier on as well when you just reminded me there, when you're talking about people who go up and smoke and the vaping. And then they go, oh, Jesus, I have a cough on my chest. Of course it's at you. Because you have a fucking 10 or 15 years full of smoking shit to come out of you. Because you're not taking the chemicals in anymore. Do you understand? So people always go, oh, that's the vaping. It's not the vaping. It's your body getting rid of all the crap that you're after putting into it with all the chemicals due to the tobacco cigarettes. And I'm going to go another one here because I'm on a roll.
Go for it.
When you look at people giving out about flavours, right? Flavours attract people. Let's say you're smoking, right? And next fall you go to vaping. You'll go to a tobacco one because you're smoking tobacco. But then because the chemicals and everything is gone, you're not getting them badness anymore. Taste buds come back, sense of smell comes back. you fucking hate the taste of tobacco.
Yeah.
Most people move to mint or fruit. And the one I always give when they give out to me about flavour, I said, right, look at Nicorette. Is there tobacco flavour in Nicorette? No, there's not. Berries, mint, all fruit, non-mint. There's no tobacco flavour in Nicorette. So tell me, that's the reason why. But again, they give out about the flavours. But it's down to adults' taste buds coming back when they give out cigarettes. I'm going to stop talking now, Lazzy.
No, you're good. You just brought me to something there as well. I guess on the other side of that, what most people don't realise, Nicorette patch is nicotine.
Oh, it is nicotine.
Yeah,
it is nicotine.
So
and if you use a Nicorette, there's like a little pen that you use, stuff like that. Like the similar pharmaceutical grade nicotine that's in Nicorette is the similar pharmaceutical grade nicotine that is in the products that we sell.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
We're not buying it off some fella in a van in India.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
We're going to the same places that the pharmaceutical companies go to. Because that's the level you need to be at.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Madness.
But as I said, the flavour thing is always going to be a thing. And listen, don't get me wrong. I agree with a lot of it that's out there because there's people out there doing things the wrong way, where they have candy, unicorn, fucking milkshake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's flavours out there which are wrong.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I get that. And I think that's wrong for the industry.
Yeah.
But when we bring it back to basics, we're looking at tobacco, menthol, berries and fruits. They're the things that people use.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, only 22% of vapors in the UK, and there's 5 million of them, use tobacco. Everything else is mint and fruit.
Yeah.
Mad,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Since the vaping, since the disposable came out, yeah. Let's say since the disposal came out and the last Mary and all that, yeah, did that slow down the purchase of tobacco? Or is that tobacco still rising? In Dublin or Ireland in any way?
Well, see, the way you need to look at it, I'm not sure on tobacco sales, but I definitely know from looking at when the HSE bring out their tobacco report every year, which shows that smoking rates are going down.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So smoking rates are still going down.
Yeah.
The problem you have is that, you know, there's a huge illegal smoking trade or tobacco trade in this country. You know what I mean? That's happened down the side streets, downtown, wherever you're going to buy them cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a huge thing that they can't take account of. But the thing you have to remember is that there was a blip, I think there was a blip during COVID where smoking rates went from 18 back up to 19, then went back down. But that was a lot of people getting locked up. I don't mean locked up, I mean locked up in their house.
In their home,
a lot of people went back onto cigarettes, you know, they would have been vaping. A lot of people just stayed in cigarettes. So that's where you're seeing a bit of a blip, but that's corrected itself. So cigarette sales are going down. Yes, they are. And smoking rates are going down. The other thing you have to remember as well, I'm sorry, I got fucking, this is probably switching off now.
No, you're good.
Data and stuff that
you're good.
I'd like to give people a clear, easy picture of this, is that the UK have the lowest smoking rate ever in their history, right? They're at 14.2%, right, of the population. We're at 18, right? They are going to be smoke-free by latest 2035. So in the next 12 years, they'll be smoke-free. Smoke-free means your smoking rate is under 5%. You never get down to zero.
Yeah.
They're going to be there by 2035, the latest. On our current trends and current predictors that the HSE have come out with, not me, we'll be smoke-free 2052.
Right.
And in 2013, we said we'd be there by 2025 in 2 years' time. 27 years too late. Why? Because we don't endorse it. And I'm going to give you a stupid saying, but I fucking love it. Like Superman's dad said when he was sending them down to Earth, son, they're afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah.
It's true that.
That's a fact, yeah.
It's true that. But what they don't understand is, that keep saying is, tobacco company, a vaping company, are the exact same fucking companies.
That's the biggest misconception.
That's what everyone's saying. Regardless you're smoking smokes that you light up or you pick up a vape, you're still paying the same person.
Everyone says that. And I'm glad you brought that up. Because that's the biggest fucking
thing. Isn't it? Like it is. It's everywhere. That's what everyone's saying.
I'm after having about 20 fucking things that annoy me. This is the biggest one. We left it near the end. But the thing, I get that all the time. You see in the newspapers, vaping is owned by Big Tobacco. Micheál Martin came out there only recently. Vaping is the revenge of Big Tobacco. I'm going to give you a little story now, which is going to fucking turn that on its head. No, Big Tobacco don't own any vape companies. Do they have a product in the vape category? Yes, they do. Do they sell it in shops? Yes, they do. They don't own the vape network. They wish they did, but they don't. Hale is owned by myself and a couple of other Irish lads. Businessmen, entrepreneurs from Dublin, and we set this up back at the start. You go to the UK, I know them all in the UK, all independent, privately owned businessmen, similar to us, who got into vaping early, and they're big fucking companies over there. None of them are owned by Big Tobacco. That's the first thing. Second thing is, tobacco companies have tried to bring out their own disposables. So you might have seen Views Go, and there's a new one out now, Blue, which is getting a bit of attention because they're obviously promoting and advertising. They're doing €4 or €6. So what we need to remember here, and I fucking love this one, is that big tobacco don't own it. They don't have any market share in the disposable section. So if you ban disposables and keep hurting vaping, then it really will be the fucking big revenge of big tobacco.
Yeah.
Not because of vaping, because people will go back to cigarettes and that's what they want.
Yeah.
So that really is the big revenge. Not what Micheál Martin thinks.
Yeah.
That's the big revenge is because they own vaping companies.
And then I guess you set off the snowball effect of more people smoking, more people less healthy, more people need healthcare, more people, and then you have a kind of a snowball effect of that as well, yeah.
Yeah, no, you do. And there's one thing I heard, he's a professor in the UK, John Britton, he's retired now, he's one of the head guys, leading clinical experts when it comes to tobacco harm reduction. He said smoking kills. And so does not giving smokers another option apart from smoking.
Yeah, true.
He says it's the same thing.
Addiction.
Not giving the option.
You know what I mean?
And when we look at this country, and again, if you look at the UK, the reason they're so far ahead of us and their smoking rates dropping is because they give out vapes to smoking dependent people in A&E departments. They have vape shops in hospitals.
Yeah.
If you go on to, and please, listeners, I don't know how many of you are left here since I've been waffling so long, but whoever is left, turn on Google now and compare ASH UK, Cancer UK and Heart UK. Compare them to the Irish equivalent and you'll see the difference. Right. Every UK site, vaping is less harmful than smoking. We say to people, if you want to try it, try it. So they give people the information. It's like you being in the gym, lads. You give people the information and let people make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Not go to the HSE website and all it says, we don't know enough about vaping to recommend these products. That's the fucking one line they have. Yeah. Nothing else. Yeah. So we're not giving people information. And what's going to happen is, if they keep this up, there's going to be a turn at some point. And what's going to happen, and I think I'm Nostradamus here telling you what's going to happen in the years to come, but it's going to happen where they turn around at one point and go, we should have got behind that a lot earlier. There's 5,000 people die every year in this country from cigarettes, smoking-related illness. And that number's not getting any lower. It's going to get lower the more people we get vaping. But what happens is there's confusion out there because the government and HSE aren't doing it. It's like me own ma. I heard in the radio vaping's killing. Are you killing people? Do you know what I mean?
The blood on your hands. Like,
no, man, no, relax.
But that brings me, sorry to cut you off, but that brings me off to, I have two more things for you. Then I'm done.
I got one, so we're there.
So that brings me to, okay, we all know the symptoms and the after effect of smoking because it's been going on for years now. A lot of people know the after effects of it, you know what I mean, or what it could cause, what damage it could do to your throat or whatever. Yeah. What people don't know is the one for vaping. Is there any symptoms that people should be looking out for in the vaping? Or is there any symptoms that, we're talking 10 years to 20 years down the line, something will pop up? There's
none that we've seen to date.
Okay.
Now, again, like anything in life, vaping is around since...
But see, the problem is, so the problem is people are saying vaping's are out what?
It's out 20 years.
It's out 20 years.
People think it's less.
But in Ireland, the likes of Lost Mary, all these little ones that's like booming are only out in the last 3 to 4 years.
They are only out. Well, Lost Mary and Alpha is only out about a year and a half, 2 years.
So these are the ones that's more consumed by the youth of today, and that's the one that the parents want to, because the old ones that you fill up and all the, let's be honest, that's more in the older crowd.
It is the older crowd.
That's the older crowd. So like what Bill Gates said, the older crowd need to die for the younger lads to survive.
Jesus, Bill.
That didn't come from me. That was Bill Gates. That's what, you know what I mean.
He knows his shit.
You know,
fucking savage, that motherfucker.
For me, my problem is what my ma even asked to ask you is the symptoms with smokes. Is it going to be the same symptoms with the vape, or is it going to be less symptoms? Or what's going on? What symptoms are we to accept or to look out for in the further future? Yeah. And that's where people are going wrong, and that's where people are really, really panicking because they don't know. Now that we have to accept it and break it down, and you have to explain the flavors, the liquid, everything that's in it, I think that gives people a lot more ease. But at the end of the day,
it does.
Putting anything foreign in your body is still going to send something.
It's going to have something happen,
some effect down the line.
It's going to have some effect down the line.
Yeah.
And as you said, vaping is around 20 years and we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
Now, is that to say that there's... But the thing you need to do, we need to bring it back. I understand the question, and it's a very valid question, because you're saying to yourself, right, well, if it's that, what would the symptoms be? What could the harm be? Whatever that might be. The thing we have to remember is that we know what smoking does.
Okay.
I'm going to say it again because I can't say it strong enough. If you don't smoke, don't vape.
Yeah,
that's the
100%.
100%. It's not there. As I was saying to you, Cab, before we started, this fucking product was invented by a Chinese man. Han Lik, his name, Honlik. He invented vaping. The reason he invented it, because his 2 parents died of lung cancer. And he believed there was something out there that was going to be less
just be better.
And that's what he did.
And that's all, yeah.
And he did that 23 years ago. So, if you don't smoke, don't vape. If you're a smoker and you switch to vaping, all I can say to you, hand on heart, 100% guarantee, the harm you're causing yourself compared to not smoking is at least 97% less. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
How that 3% or 4% equates to, we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything. We should have saw something maybe in the last 20 years because you think something would manifest in that amount of time. Regards to Lost Mary and Tin Comet, you have to remember as well, they still have to pass the same test that every other product has to pass. So it's not as if there's going to be something different in them that's not in the other liquids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying to you? There's still toxicology emissions testing in them. So no matter what liquid it is, you know, they all have to adhere to the same regulations and rules. But as I said, the thing about, as I said, and I'll repeat it, is that vaping is at least between 95 to 97% less harmful. And the main reason for that, to keep it simple, is that there's no combustion, there's no burning. When you light a cigarette, that is when the danger happens. Any smoke is bad for you. There's no smoke in vaping.
No. I've seen people using it on the planes.
No, but someone said to me...
I've seen people use it on planes.
So again, listen... Can you believe it? I know you've loads of questions. Can you believe when I go away, I go somewhere? Me miss to be sitting down for dinner. Someone said, what do you do? I have a vape company. And then someone says, oh, I heard that's as bad as smoking. My miss just goes, no, please don't.
Leave him.
I'm just out for dinner. I can't listen to him anymore. She even hates me talking about it. So you can imagine the amount of questions I get.
You're well used to this.
What people say to me is that, I was in a pub or I was in a room, and next time I go sitting here in this room, right? And people say, there's 3 lads vaping. What's that doing to me? It's more harmful for you to walk down O'Connell Street in Dublin than it is to sit in this room with at least 6-7 people vaping. Vape is vape. It's not smoke.
No.
If I took a puff out of a cigarette and blew a puff of smoke here, it would probably linger. It could linger around for 4 or 5 minutes before it
evaporates.
Disappears. When you do a vape, I'm going to say between 10 to 20 seconds, because there's water in it.
And then it evaporates. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
No, the same. If it evaporates, dissipates. I'm just using a posh word. And so people need to understand that as well. You know what I mean? There's no second hand. There's no second hand
offer like that. So it's handy.
That's the thing. So it is. And as I said, the problem is that vaping has been lumped in with tobacco for so long now, and it's just keep coming. As I said, we talked about the disposable ban. It's only going to lead to a black market. I'm asking the government to give us time. It's not as if we only have ban and nothing else. We have deposit return as an option.
Exactly.
So we can put bins and put deposit. So instead of you paying €8, you pay $8.50. Then when you come back, if you bring one back, you're only charged $8. If you don't bring one back, you're charged $8.50 again. Do you get it?
Absolutely. Incentivized.
It's similar to the new. So we've given them other options. So the only option is not ban. And as I always say, these can be recycled. And I go back to cigarettes. Cigarette butts can't be recycled. But no one's talking about banning them. That's not even up for discussion.
That's nuts.
Too much money on that shit.
Yeah, way too much money. It's around way too long, man. That's what the problem is. Yeah. Do you want to go?
Yeah, so my one is just more kind of for your future now, like, so, because I did want to touch on the guy that founded it. Like, obviously, it was. I think when you find out why he did it,
I think, do you know what?
It's huge.
We've been to China. Like, you know what I mean? I've been to China a few times. You've been to China with me. And I tell you one thing: if one country fucking needs it, it's China.
It's fucking them.
That place is fucking ridiculous for the fags.
And boxes of smokes for £2 as well, like, for nothing over there.
Like I'm seeing, they're just like after, just like I'm in fag after the other.
Yeah.
And if that place needs it, it's the only that place.
It's a fact. Even the smoking in a restaurant and tipping it on the floor. And they just
ridiculous in the nightclubs now.
Yeah, man.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's loose as fuck.
Go on. Sorry,
I think when you find out the reason behind these things being made, and it's, you know, it combats all of the things like, you know, big tobacco and, you know, that it would be harmful, and someone actually tried to make it to bring a solution, you know. But my final question was, after you were saying you're in the Oireachtas already, you're going to bring it through to get regulated completely. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
That's right. So what's your hope then after that?
Well, after that, listen, regulation is always good.
Yeah.
Just depends how much regulation.
Yeah.
The problem is that you don't want to over-regulate it, which like as I said, the people are coming up with, there should be plain packaging on it. They should be put behind cigarettes. They should be this. Like we can't. Like I remember he's the ex-director of ASH UK, which is Action Against Smoking and Health. Clive Bates, guru when it comes to this stuff. A guru. I listen to him all the time. That's how I get most of my information. But anyway, he came out and he said, we have to make it attractive to smokers. You have to make vaping attractive.
You have to make it cool.
Attractive.
Yeah, you have to make it cool. Yeah.
But people are smoking a long time and they're entrenched in it. The hope is when the bill comes out that there's going to be a licensing system. So you have to have a license and you have to be approved by the HSC. So I'm hoping that's going to get rid of the moms and pop stores, the phone shops down Parnell Street. And I don't mind saying that these different shops that shouldn't have them in it. Shouldn't have them. They should be in specialist vape stores, no matter whose they are, whether they're mine or someone else's. Because vape shops are great because they have the information to help smokers get transition. Exactly. They don't have that in a centre or Spar. No. Some 19-year-olds there giving you a vape. And you say to him, well, how is that? I haven't a clue. You have to go into a vape shop. If anyone's thinking of quitting smoking, into a vape shop. Look at a few different things and find something that suits you. But hopefully the bill will tidy up the industry. I'm all for things getting tidied up every so often. And we need it. License system, legally banned to under 18s, and I'm nearly sure it's going to be like maximum, but we don't do maximum in this country, maximum of a €3,000 fine and or 2 or 3 months in prison. Now we know we don't do maximums here.
No.
We just give everyone a fucking
stick
a rock and a fine on that.
Stick a rock,
So but I think, I'm hoping the new bill is going to tidy everything up a little bit. I really hope it does. And what we need to do is, and again, I'm sick of repeating myself, not here, but in every other place, like, I'm looking to work with the government. Like, I know I was involved in the help bill, but I wasn't involved sitting with them deciding what we're doing. I was in there debating with them. Well, you shouldn't do that and shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Because you're looking at flavour bans, you're looking at everything then. And thankfully we were able to negate all that. My thing is that I'd love to be able to work with them, say the HSC, quit, you know, the quit centres around the country. Even do a test pilot where we go in and we educate. Maybe say it's quit, you know, in Tala. You know, you go in and do a quit session. You know, try and help it. We'd fund it. Like, I tell you, and you might think this is mad. I don't go out that much anymore. But when I started VIP, it was back 10 years or so. I was going out probably a bit more than I am now. And I'd be in a taxi coming home or going to town, and I'd hear some fella bleeding, coughing his lungs up. And I go, do you smoke? Yeah, have you heard of vaping? I heard that. I burned the fucking ears off him all the way. He nearly told me, I was there, I don't want that. But this is true as God. I'm not trying to make myself sound like a holy joke, but I'd say to him, right, I tell you what I do. I own VIP. You don't. You're a liar. You're full of gargle. I said, no, I do. I'm going to send, what do you smoke? John Player Blue, right? I'm going to send you something on Monday. He said, all right, I won't charge. No, charge me the fee. I just don't want you to smoke. I just don't want you to smoke. I just don't want people smoking anymore. It kills. People say it's 1 and 2. It's not. It's nearly 65% of people that use cigarettes will die from a smoke-related illness. Madness. It's one of the most preventable things in the world. It is the most preventable thing in the world if we're able to help people make the decision, give them the information, make them swap over. So my hope is that the bill tidies up stuff and I'm able to work with the government at some point, that we're able to work together. I'm not asking them to go, oh, let's all buy Hale. I'm not saying even Hale. I'm just saying, get in with the industry, come down and see our factory. Tell us if now the HSE do come and see us and do us the inspectors, but what I'm trying to say, work closely with the industry to even come up with a better product or to make things better. Like I'm saying to them, like, okay, let's look at some of the flavours that are childlike names on them and let's put a banning list together. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we just want everything our way. It has to be a two-way street, but unfortunately it falls on deaf ears at the moment. I'm just hoping, I'm an eternal optimist. I'm just hoping that it will change at some point, that they will look. But I do feel, and I feel this so strongly because of all the experts I speak to, I feel that we're going to get to a point, and whenever it might be, I could be fucking dead by then, but not in our government, but I think we're going to get to a point where they're going to wish that they did something sooner. Whenever that is, I don't know.
It definitely sounds like it for sure, yeah.
And that brings me to my last one.
That's okay.
My last one is not really a question, it's just a request, really. And for me, as non-smoker, I like having vape in my hand sometimes, but would you ever think of, because the flavors are amazing. That's why you are so popular. Like, we're gonna be dead serious. The name of it, the flavor, the easy carry, it's amazing. Did you ever think of bringing in a CBD?
No, the thing with CBD is the problem with CBD. I got into CBD myself back in 2013. When it was like a gold rush, everyone was doing it.
Everyone's doing it.
It went everywhere. I opened a CBD shop in Stephen's Green.
No way.
Myself,
Is that up Asher? Beside that shit?
No, upstairs. You know when you come in, the back entrance where Dunne's is, it used to be Sky.
Yeah.
CBD shop, someone else owns
Someone owns that now,
I used to have that there.
Oh, brilliant.
I won't even tell you, we did some money the first week because I was in all the newspapers, first CBD shop. But the problem was that most of the stuff out there was just snake oil.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was like hemp oil. It wasn't
hemp
CBD.
oil, it wasn't CBD.
It wasn't real CBD stuff.
Yeah.
I think CBD is a very grey area still at the moment. We've been asked to get back into it.
Especially in Dublin, man.
Yeah,
in Ireland, like, it's crazy.
We've been asked by many people all the time. We've just decided, because we got our CBD, we're not going back into it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
That'd be amazing, though. Imagine a lost grade CBD.
A double apple. Joe, a double apple. I'm just saying, a double apple CBD vape would go down very well with a man.
I know the fella in Stephen's Green there now. He's in there now, and he does some CBD vapes.
Okay.
This stuff was meant to be good. He does his HC or something as well. This other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in that one.
Hey, that's the HHC. Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
We'd be somewhat of an advocate here.
Yeah, I was in Portugal. I went to Portugal with the family, and like I said, I smoked to go to bed, and like I have a big ADHD head. You know what I mean? So I can't calm down unless
you need
I can't shut off. I just, if it's not the gym, if it's not like, you know what I mean, this or I have other businesses going. So I'm always thinking. So I need something to smoke, and it's only like I smoke joint.
Yeah, if even.
I'm grand. I'm just back to normal. And I was away. I was in Portugal there, and I couldn't get on. And I seen these HHCs, and I said, I'll try it. Like, you know what I mean? Wow. Yeah. They did a job. Yeah. They did a job. Like I slept. I didn't sleep for 3 days when I got there because I was so used to going to bed with it. So when I smoked that, gone.
Chamfer the edge off nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. But I would love to see that now. I would love you to go to the next level with it and see that in the last.
That's a show actually. I haven't even thought of that. That's a good one right there.
I lost Mary when I leave here. Yeah, tell them the new idea. CBD is the way forward.
I'm telling you, it's gold mine. Gold mine.
The two biggest customers right here.
The health benefit of it is crazy, and they're dead right about the snake oil because a lot of them are fakers. Like, there's nothing in it, like cooking oil.
Crisp and dry,
olive oil and all.
This milligram, that milligram, nothing.
Yeah.
As you say, veg oil or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
CBD, we'll just focus on vaping now.
Yeah.
You have enough battles to be fighting anyway.
As I said to you, it's a constant firefight. It's non-stop. It's like every week something comes out. Like as soon as the public health bill was published on a Tuesday, whenever it was, last month or 2 months ago, the disposable consultation ban came out the day after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, so it's like it's a constant barrage, but it's come here. I don't mind that. It'd be different if I was sitting here in front of you lads today and I was just going, oh Jesus Christ, I don't know what to say here. I don't know what's in now. I don't know who makes it. I don't know where it comes from. I'm just making money. But as I said to you, because the experts and scientists around the world who were looking at this, and as someone said to me there recently, they said, you know what? There's no end game to tobacco without vaping. It'll never be gone unless vaping is endorsed. Because nothing. Last thing, NRT, patches and gums, 96% failure rate.
Really? Yeah.
But when you see HSC and these people coming into newspapers, oh no, vaping, we don't know enough about it. Trust the gold standard, which is NRT. Gold standard. Imagine having a 96% failure rate.
As a gold standard,
would you have them working for you?
Not at all.
Yeah. And that's the problem with NRT, because it doesn't work. No, why? Because it's on your arm. You're not doing the hand to mouth.
Yeah.
So your subconscious is telling you, where's the nicotine coming from? No, you need to have a smoke pellet. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people who give up and go cold turkey, they might have a pen in their hand or a light.
Anything.
They need that.
So that's the whole science behind it originally, do you know what I mean? But as I said, listen, it's a constant battle, but I don't mind that. I'm well up for a debate. I was going to say a row. I'm well up for a debate.
Very nice. Good save.
They're not with you guys, with other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But no, honestly, I'm good there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Joe. I think we both learned an awful lot, and hopefully the listeners are the same.
Big time, man.
And it doesn't fall on deaf ears anymore. People start listening to the right stuff.
No, it isn't. If I could leave one lasting thing, as I said, there's a lot of people using disposables out there. If you could do me a favour, just bring it back. If you have an empty one, wherever you're buying it, just bring it back. Stick it in that. See the blue box that you see every day that you put AAA, disposables go in that. And what happens with them, just to tell you so you understand what happens, is they go back to We Ireland, they split the AAA, AAs from the vapes. Vapes go to Germany, and Germany have a machine that take everything apart, because someone was on yesterday going, oh, you have to take it back manually and you can't. Germany takes it all apart, and up to 90% of the vape is recyclable. So they are recyclable. That's the thing. Don't think they're not and throw it in the bin. They are. So if you want to help out and keep everything kosher and keep getting the flavours and the products that you want, just bring it back to the shop you buy it in. That's my only request.
Look for your blue bin, lads. Look for your blue bin.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Guys.
Appreciate you.
A gentleman, man. Nice to meet you as well. It was brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, brilliant. So guys, If you like what we do, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Catch us on the next one, guys.
Till next time.
You've made it to the end. Guys, if you're fucking with us and you like exactly what we were doing, everything we talked about, make sure to do what?
Follow, like, share, subscribe, YouTube or Spotify. No matter what you're listening or watching us on, be sure to hit all them buttons and run up them numbers, my guys. You know what I'm saying?
You better.